ABC Kinderteach presents Areli is a Dreamer, a true story written by Areli Morales, illustrated by Luisa Uribe. At Abuela's house, our grandmother's house, Saturdays were filled with family and sunshine. Areli was good at playing escondite or hide and seek, and even better at chasing chickens. She could outrun her big brother Alex and their primas or cousins. When evening came, she sat around a noisy table and ate mounds of tortillas and pollo con frijoles, or chicken with beans, for supper, her favorite. And there she is right there. But Sundays were different. On Sundays, Areli and Alex sat in the stuffy, crowded and not very breezy living room, waiting and waiting for the phone to ring. Why are they waiting for the phone to ring? It must be important. "It's your mama and papa," said Abuela, "from America." "Hola," or hello, "Mama." "Hola, papa," said Areli in a small voice. "Hola, mi niña," or my girl, said Mama. "Did you get the toys we sent you?" asked Papa. Papa always asked about the toys. "Sí," or yes, said Areli. "Gracias," thanks, Mama. "Gracias, Papa." Mama and Papa had been away so long they felt like strangers. "When are you coming home?" she asked. She knew the answer. "Oh, Mia," her darling. "We can't come back to Mexico," said Mama. "We're trying to get you here to America with us." "Your Mama and I dream of the day we will all be together," said Papa. "We will send for you soon, I promise." When Areli hung up the phone, Alex tried to make her smile. "Mama and Papa think about us all the time," he said. "They're working hard, Mia," Abuela said, "for all of us. They want us to have a better life." "But why will Alex go to America first, and then me?" Areli asked. Abuela had told her the answer many times. "Alex was born in America, so he can come and go. You were born here, so it's harder for you." "How hard?" Abuela didn't answer. Instead, she wrapped Areli in her arms. "Your Mama and Papa want you all to be together as a family." But they weren't all together as a family that year. Mama and Papa didn't come back for Areli's birthday, or Dia de los Muertos, which is the day when you get together to remember those people who have passed away, or even Navidad, or Christmas. So they have not been home in quite a while, not her birthday, not even for holidays like Christmas. Then one night, Alex took out his suitcase. "Where are you going?" Areli asked, but she already knew. "You know where I'm going," Alex said. "I'm going to Nueva York, or New York." He flashed her a big grin and gave her a drawing of the two of them in the yard with the chickens. "So you won't forget me," he said. A few days later, he was gone. Now, when she waited for calls from Mama and Papa, Areli had to wait alone. That fall, Areli started kindergarten at the school near her abuela's house. She was so proud to be at school. She learned to tie her shoes and write the letters of the alphabet. She played al escondite with her new friends. She barely thought of Nueva York at all. So she's busy at school now. So she's kind of forgotten about her family. Not really forgotten, just she doesn't think about them as much. Until the day Abuela greeted her with tears in her eyes. "Oh, really, Mia, you're leaving us," she said. "Your mama and papa are sending someone to take you to New York to live with them at last." Abuela's voice was shaking, which means she was talking while you feel like you're about ready to cry. "I don't want to go to New York," Areli said. "I want to stay here with you and my friends and my home. Please don't make me go, Abuela." "If I could take care of you here, I would, my sweet. But I am old, and there is no future for you in Mexico. You don't understand now, but someday you will." So now she does not want to leave her grandmother. She wants to stay in Mexico with her friends and the people that she knows. But her grandma says, "I can't really take care of you too much longer because I'm really pretty old." The next Saturday night's dinner was very sad. Areli said goodbye to her cousins. She said goodbye to her friends. She said goodbye to the mountains and the chickens. "I'll never forget you," she said. On Sunday morning, Abuela woke Areli at dawn, which means when it first was light out. They held each other very tightly. A man with kind eyes, a nice-looking man, was waiting for Areli in the doorway. "This man is a friend of your mama's and papa's, and he will take you to America," Abuela said. "Come, Areli," he said. Areli stayed where she was. The man was a stranger to her. "Be brave, Areli," Abuela said. Areli gave Abuela one more fierce hug or tight hug. "I love you, Mia." "I love you, Abuela," said Areli. Then she left for her new country. So she's leaving pretty much everything that she knows, and she's going with this man who she doesn't know, but her mom and dad say he is a good person, and he's going to take her to her parents' house. So it's kind of a scary time for her. And there they are, they're driving in this truck across Mexico, and then they get ready to get on a bus, it looks like, and they're on a bus, and then finally they show up in New York, or they call it Nueva York. Mama cried very hard when she saw Areli. Her mother had not seen Areli in a long time, and so she cried because she was so happy to see her. Areli ran to her, but Mama didn't look like her picture at Abuela's house. Her hair was a different color, and it was curly. Papa had lines around his eyes, which means he was looking different as well. They held each other for a long time. Areli did not want to let go, so she was so happy to see everyone. "Areli," Alex said, "you made it. I can't wait to show you our house." Alex was a lot taller, but he still had a smile that spread ear to ear. And look at that, they have a little kitty there. Everything in New York was bigger and faster and noisier than in the mountains. It wasn't home at all. So she was in a fairly quiet, peaceful place in Mexico, and then she comes to New York and there's just so much activity, so it's hard to get used to. Areli had to go to school, but the teachers did not know her name. She couldn't speak English, and when she tried, the words came out all wrong. She made friends with the other girls who could speak Spanish, but she couldn't stop kids from teasing her. So she comes to the United States, and she doesn't know how to speak English. And so the teacher's talking in English, and she does not really know what's going on, and it's just a really confusing time and not understanding what the teacher's saying. It's all a very, very hard time for her. Areli's an illegal, which means she came into the country without permission. They should take her back to Mexico. Areli can't read. She's so backward, which means she doesn't know anything. Her mom cleans my house. She's our maid. Areli was ashamed. She felt bad about herself and her family. She had never felt this way before. No te preocupes, Areli, and that just means don't worry, her friend said. No pueden hacerte daño. They can't hurt you. When she went home that night, Areli asked her mother what the kids meant when they said she was illegal. Illegal means against the law, her mother began. I'm not against the law, Areli said. Of course you're not, said her mother, but you were born in Mexico, so even though you are growing up here in America, you are not a citizen of this country, which means a person who has paperwork that says they can live in this country. Do I get to be a citizen someday? Asked Areli. I hope so, Mia. I hope so. Her mother wouldn't say anything else, so Areli asked Alex why she needed to be a citizen. If you're a citizen, you can do whatever Americans do, he said. What if I'm not? Areli asked. She wasn't sure she wanted to hear the answer. Then I guess you could be taken back to Mexico, said Alex. He wouldn't look at her. Without us. Areli didn't understand, but she knew she should stay quiet about her first home in Mexico. She did not want to be sent back to Mexico all by herself. She did not want to break the law just by being who she was. So she's worried because they might send her back to Mexico without her family. So she's really pretty nervous about it. So she's saying, I'm not going to tell people where I'm from so they don't send me back. Areli had to work extra hard to learn her lessons in a new language. It wasn't easy. By second grade, she could count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. In third grade, she learned about the Constitution, many words that describe what it means to be a citizen of the USA. By fourth grade, she could write a book report and read it aloud, so she's making a lot of progress. Pretty soon it was hard for Areli to remember how the sun shone on the mountains at Abuela's house. Now she spoke English like any other girl from America. She played jump rope games and watched TV shows. She and Alex could get anywhere in the city on the subway. It's a train that takes you around the city. They rode the F train all the way to Coney Island, where she saw the ocean for the first time. Every 4th of July, she was mesmerized by the fireworks in the sky, which means she was so amazed by the fireworks that she could not take her eyes off them. She was a New Yorker. In 5th grade, Areli's class went on a field trip. It's when you get on the bus and you go somewhere to learn about something new. They got on a boat and sailed into the Hudson River. Areli's heart beat fast to see Ellis Island, where so many immigrants had come before her. And immigrants are people who come to a country to live. On the tour of Ellis Island, Areli learned a lot. More than 12 million immigrants passed through here on their way to America, said the tour guide. Almost every one of us has family that came to this country from a foreign land. So what happened is they used to send people through this building to become U.S. citizens. On the boat ride back home, Areli thought about the tour guide's words. She pictured the millions of other people who had made the long journey or trip to America, and how Lady Liberty welcomed them with her shining torch. She did not feel illegal. She felt like she was part of something very big, meaning the United States. On Saturday, she called her abuela in Mexico. Are you working hard? Abuela asked. Very hard, Areli said. She told Abuela all about Ellis Island. Those immigrants are part of America. Remember when you said I might have a brighter future here, Abuela? I think I understand now, and I think you were right. A brighter future just means she has more chances to do a lot of different things. That night, Areli looked out over the lights of New York City and dreamed of what she might do someday. She might be a writer and tell her story. She might be a teacher and help children who found themselves in this new land. I could do anything here, Areli said to the city sky. Someday I will.